Hello, welcome to El Paso MLS training. This is about 30 to 45 minute training video really set for our admin and assistants or secretaries who use the MLS system to support the needs of the realtors, brokers at their office. Well, welcome. We're in the MLS system now. It's called Matrix MLS. At this point, you should have already had your login credentials and can log in and access the system. The upper right, you can see there's basically 5 sections that we'll cover, mainly doing around kind of work you may be doing at your office in support of those brokers and agents. Let's begin. We're going to start with basic navigation. We are in the Matrix homepage right now, and we are set up in an account that would operate like an assistant would, which means they're not licensed, but they have access to the office level in order to make changes to listings. And you can see one of the boxes on the front of the home page is My Listings. So let's quickly talk about these boxes up here. Some of them may be useful for you, some may not. You can move them around by clicking on the blue bar at the top and arranging them where you would like to go. If there's some you just feel that you just are never going to use and you want to get rid of them, all you have to do is go on the right side of that bar and hit X. Now it doesn't get rid of it, it just kind of tucks it away under this additional section, but we can move them down, the ones we aren't using. Not going to have any carts maybe, and you can kind of see how we're getting to where it's cleaned up. Navigation is done also through the top bars, the little blue tabs up here. Right now we're on Home. We go to Search. Just by hovering our mouse there, we can see there's different variations of searches that we can do, and we actually have to click More to see all of them. But these should meet your basic need. They're set by property type. If for whatever reason you need to look at all property types, you can go to Cross Property Search, and that's the only search that's really going to allow you to select different property types and combinations. This may be useful if you're looking for a searching agent or office, a specific listing history. On the part of the search, you can type in the listing agent, sell agent, or office. When you click on search and go down to the bottom where it says more, it brings up the full list. And that's where you actually see the open house search. If there's ever a need for you to run that search, it's right there. Next we have stats. It allows you to run statistical analysis with the search criteria and get charts and graphs of information. My Matrix is primarily used by the agents and brokers in the MLS to manage their profile, set up free websites, take a look at their history of sent emails, view their listings, and also manage auto emails, which we'll come to in a little bit. Tax is going to allow you to access one of our 2 tax programs. The primary one is called Realist Tax. Clicking on that should open it up in a new window and allowing us to search the tax database for the counties in this area. Finance, several different calculators. Input is probably where we're going to be spending some time today. That's where you're going to be able to access, edit, and add listings for the office that you're working at. Market reports, in there you can get agent and office production and ranking reports. Those are pretty popular with brokers and agents, especially around the beginning and end of year to look at their annual productions. We also have a set of links that you can access to learn more about all these different tools. We have links to MLS rules, training calendars, local links to counties, schools, and realtor resources. Admin, you will not need to go into that section. And then finally help. Help is very handy if you needed to get a little refresher or learn more about a particular feature. For example, the speed bar up top allows you to type in a listing number or address and search. If you want to learn more about that, you go to the speed bar, and it should actually bring up a little written guide that tells you how to do it. Some of these actually include videos as well. So that's the basic navigation and getting around. Let's go to something that you may be doing as part of your role at your office, and that is going to be searching. Okay, so you'll go down to the search, and we'll just start off with a residential quick. This is a basic layout of a residential search, and potentially every field available on the listing is searchable. And this is just a general list to start off. So if there's something you want to search, you're looking for, you may have to go down to additional fields and add that in. And then up here you have your statuses. Let's take a look what happens when I pick sold. So I pick a sold status. It throws in a date saying look for anything sold back 180 days. Now I do have the option of removing that, and that's just saying anything sold. And you can see down in the bottom my search results are over 5,000. Can also put in a date range, whether I want to type it in. So if I want to look at the sales just in December, I can type that date range in there, and I have 671. I can also use the calculator. And that does the same thing. So now that we have our status, and let's go ahead and just pick active and pending too. You can see we're over 5,000 matches. So some other things we can do to bring that search down is focus on geography. We can pick El Paso County. That brings our total down less than 5,000. We can go to list price, which is right here. And when that checkbox is checked, it's telling you that when you type a value in, it's going to add those 300s. So it's important to know what that means when we have the checkbox in the thousands. Right now, if I have 100 in there, it's actually interpreting it as 100,000. And you can see that in the search results. I have 8 matches in my search so far for homes that are exactly 100,000. But if I do 100 and then do a plus sign, it's actually going to say anything over 100. So I can also use that in combination like 100 to 250. Gives me 3,485. So that's kind of how that works. Now, if you want to use it without the check mark, it's really looking at it like $100 to 250. Now, if you're looking at rental properties, which have a rental amount and usually average around 1,000 a month, then that might be more handy to remove that box. But typically, I would just leave those alone. Same applies for solds. If you're looking for solds that sold less than 200,000, you would choose 200 and a minus sign. We also have bedrooms, and you can do it in combinations or using the same kind of formulas that I use for the price. If you're looking for 3 to 5 bedrooms, you just type 3-5, and you can see each time I'm kind of moving my mouse out of that box just to if I leave it in there, it doesn't like record that change yet. So that's 3 to 5 bedrooms. If I want 6 or more, then that's 6 plus. So if I just want more than 3 bedrooms and I need 2 full baths, that's how it would look. So a lot of these where you type a value in are going to follow that similar format. Square footage as well. If I want 1,200 and up, there I go. So you can also search by agent or office, and to do that, if you do not know that office or agent ID code, which is a numeric value, you have this little lookup icon here, and you can go in there and search the office name, and it will assign that in there if you wanted to run, search for your office listings. This is one you could use. So let's go down to additional fields. It looks like this search has added 3 additional fields to search by. Special notes is handy for those looking to identify distressed properties that maybe are corporate owned or foreclosure repo or HUD, or let's see, real estate owned, repo, short sale. So with those 6 special notes I selected, I've actually got 171 matches. Okay, let's add or remove a field by clicking that link here, and that will bring up a field list. You can see on the right, these are the 3 only I've added. So all the ones on the left are ones I could potentially add to my search. It's an A to Z list, when you can search for your field or type in part of the word if you want. So let's go ahead and add cooling. And then hit back. And you can see now at the bottom, cooling's there. Now if we're looking for something with an evaporative cooler, you can see there. So basically our search now is for active pending, sold in December, El Paso County, 3-bedroom or more, 2-bath or more, 1,200 square feet or more, has an evaporative cooler, and is one of 6 special note types that I would identify as being distressed, banquet, or short sale type. So if that's your search, you simply hit results right there, and you're able to see the results. At this point I have one of 25 displayed on the screen, total of 67, and this is my display. You can change your display to different ones, and you can also modify that display. For example, if we wanted to remove city right here, we would just click in that box, not on the link, but right to the right of it where the up and down arrows are, and we hit remove column. Okay, if we wanted to add another one, we would just look for a kind of a gray spot over here on one of the columns where we can get our little plus and our up and down arrows and do insert column. Let's go ahead and add in we'll go ahead and add CDOM. Now I added it right next to address where we put it, so I can actually click and move it if I want. Okay, and there's CDOM. Now any of these blue links at the top, identifying on the column, you can click and sort. So if I wanted to sort by list price, there it's low to high. That's our lowest. If I wanted to view all of these search results on one screen, again, I would have to go, since we're doing 25, I would have to change that drop down to 50 or 100. And there you can see you can scroll down and do that and identify them all. Clicking on one of the listing numbers will take us to the primary display. In this case, it's called Agent Full. And here you can also choose to email, print, use it for a CMA. Different options below there for you. At the top of the display are several different icons that will actually take you to supplemental information that ties into this property. And usually hovering over the mouse, it'll give you a basic idea of what it is. So the first one takes you to property history. The second one lets you view the photos. This other one is a map. This one with a little reel-to-reel is actually the virtual tour for that property. And then you have 3 tax links to our realist tax system, 2 links to Central Lock, our lockbox program, 1 link to the Realtor Property Resource Property Report, 4 different links to the Data Co-op community reports, and 3 icons for Find. These are all really great tools to learn more about, but in this short course we're not going to be able to go into depth on what all of these will take you to. This final one here, okay, and this last icon is a little triangle with an exclamation point. Actually click on that will allow you as a user to report what you feel is a violation regarding the MLS rules or data to our MLS office. It will be reported confidentially, so the agent you're reporting it on won't know who it is. Okay, let's go into listing edit now. This is something you maybe needed to do as a role at your office. You can access the office listings a couple of ways. You can see on the home page on the bottom left are some links to my listings, and you can go and access the active ones, incomplete, pending, whatever you need to do. You can also go under My Matrix to My Listings and sort and view the group of listings you're looking for. Finally, you go to Input. Input's going to allow you to select the listings at your office or agent that you want to modify. And you'll just have to kind of memorize these these codes on the right to tell you what status it is. We're looking for A, indicating it's an active listing. Let's go ahead and pick on this one right here, and we'll choose edit. So this is one you may have been asked to change to pending, or manage the photos, or add an open house, or change the comments. So through this form, we can go to input, and it'll bring us to the input form, which features 6 different tabs of property information. If we have been asked to go and change the remarks, we would go there and update any remarks that we need to do, or any confidential remarks. We can change features, and if we need, we can also add a co-agent or reassign that listing agent to someone else. Something else you may need to do is manage the photos. Each listing can hold up to 50. This one has 5. We do require 6 or more photos on existing homes and resale, and at least 3 for lots, land, and new home construction. So in this case, it's an active listing, as we can see up here, and let's just say we've been charged with placing it under contract. Well, you would go where it says change to pending. There's 3 required fields in yellow. We'll need to identify the pending date, the projected close date, the day that it's estimated to close and fund, and a selling agent. If the selling agent was the same as the listing agent, then you would just put their number in there. If not, you might want to hit that find selling agent icon link and search for the person. So let's go ahead and find a random name. We'll go ahead and just fill in them, and you can see it assign that ID, and then we hit submit, and now it's a pending listing in the system, indicated by the P right here. So that's just some basic things about listing input. One thing we will cover real quick is how to start a new listing. This one you will need to go to input and click add new. It's going to ask you to pick one of the 5 property types to start the form. We have 3 ways to enter a new listing. 1, we can fill from Realist Tax Auto Populate simply by putting in the parcel number, street name, or owner information in county, and it should find that property and begin the listing there. We can also copy an existing listing if we happen to know that old number. Copying a listing requires that that same listing have been assigned to the same agent before previously. So somebody can't just copy a listing from a random office. It has to have been theirs before. And the most common one I'd say is starting with a blank listing, and it's going to take us to the blank form where we have to fill it out all ourselves. A couple of things to note here. The yellow ones are required, and sometimes other fields will become required depending on our choice. So if I choose property class detached, you can see property type now is asking me if it's new home or resale. But if I pick attached, over here it's going to ask me what type of attached. Okay, you go through. Most of them are straightforward fields, and we also have question mark icons next to some that identify little notes if you need clarification. Now under the property info, you actually have to put HOA information. If you're listing an attached or manufactured home here, it's where you put the dimensions and links, etc. Features can take quite a bit to fill out, but you can see a lot of them required here on a residential, and I'll have to select the appropriate ones to market those features on the property. 2 things need to happen before you can actually submit a listing to active status in the MLS. 1, it's going to require you to have at least 1 photo. It's just simply not going to let you submit it, even if you have all of the data, without doing that photo. And at that point, you will have to hit save as incomplete, go to that incomplete listing, manage the photos, and add that 1 photo. Then you can come back and finish entering the listing. When you submit a listing, it's actually going to validate it against our internal business rules and listing requirements. So let's click validate right here, and you can see that this listing is not even close to being done, and it's pretty much has validation errors on every field. There's actually a list right here we can click on. You can see this is really all I need. I really need to fill the whole listing out, but I wanted to highlight this one right here. So again, even if I had to enter all those other information on the listing, it will stop me right now because it doesn't have a photo. So I need at least one photo to make it active. Okay, the next section we're going to go into is talking a little bit about reports and a CMA. CMA reports, the cumulative market analysis reports, very popular reports for brokers and agents in the MLS to work with their sellers and buyers. So, how do you do a CMA? The first thing is that agent will need to do a search. We'll start off with a residential search, and we'll focus on sold listings that sold in the last 6 months, and that 0 to 180 will do just fine. We want to set up our search to best match the comp. In order, we want to find comparable properties similar to the subject. So if we know that the subject property is 3-bedroom and 2-bath, and the square foot, let's say that home is 1,300 square foot, I might put 1,100 to 1,500. And I've got 588 matches. You can do additional things if you want. You can do detached. We can also go to a map search at the top and add a map search element to our search. Let's say that the home that our subject property is north of the loop up here. So I can actually go and interact with the map and draw a shape if I want. Okay. So I'm including that shape. And now I can see I have 38 matches contained by that map shape I drew. And then you can go to search results. And again, this is the basic concept of doing a CMA, is searching, finding the comparable properties, and selecting the most appropriate ones. But for time's sake, I'm just going to grab a couple. I've selected a total of 6. And then you hit CMA at the bottom. Okay, once you assign the CMA to a contact, and then you can move on to the different pages. Right now I have no selected pages. You can add them one by one if you want, or add them all over like that. And then if you find some you don't want, you can hit remove, a little X there. After you have your pages set up, you can set that as your default, or just go on to the subject. Here you're going to enter your subject property information one of 4 ways. Once it has that, if it was a previous listing, it will pull in that property photo and property details and remarks, kind of jump starting you on your path to complete the CMA. On the cover tab is your cover page, which is include your basic information on your agent profile. Here's your comparables you've done. This is a map showing where those comparables are. If you need to make adjustments, this is where you would make those adjustments to your comps and subject. And then it gives you your pricing strategy, and then you can finish. Again, I'm going really quickly through a CMA just so you have an idea where the function is. If you wanted to learn more about doing the CMA, I recommend going to Help, go to Video Tutorials, and do CMA Video Tutorial, and give you a little bit more understanding of doing that. You can also go down to another one called How Do I Create a CMA that covers a lot of things we've just mentioned. Okay, we're going to do one more section and we'll wrap up this little training video of the MLS. Another popular function that the brokers and agents in the MLS do is set up what's called an auto search. For example, they may have a buyer who's interested in a particular neighborhood and buying a home there either in the next week or next couple of months. And so the agent's going to go in and set up a search around that area based on what they like, and it should update auto email new listings to them as they appear on the market daily. So let's start off doing one of those. In this case, let's do a rental search. And we need to think about what statuses are going to apply. We want to make sure that, in this case, a potential renter or buyer is looking to rent a property. So they're not going to look to rent a sold or leased one. They want something that's active. And we need to know kind of what they're willing to pay for rent. Let's say they want to pay between $800 and $1,200 a month. And this is where I need to uncheck that thousands value, so it only looks at $800 to $1,200. Okay, what part of town do they want to live in? We don't know. Let's go to the map, clicking on map search. So these are all the rentals now. But let's just say that they are interested in living on the east side. So I'm going to use my map shape again. And I'm just going to go ahead and say that that's where they're looking. We're down to 85 matches right now. Let's go ahead and put they need 3 bedrooms. At least 3. Okay, we've got 82 matches. Square foot, at least 900. Okay. The things we can do, say they want a 2-story. Okay, so we're going to go add additional fields. Go down to S and find stories, which is not there. So it's a good one here. Stories is actually, there we go, number of stories in property. Okay, I've got 4 matches now based off this search for the rental they're looking at. Let's go to the results. And so this is basically setting up an auto search. We agreed that this is the type of properties that this buyer or renter wants to see and have emailed to them. If that's the case, we're going to go over here at the bottom of the search list where it says save. And we can set up a new auto email by clicking that middle one right there. We're going to assign it to our contact in the system, and we're going to do a subject message. Okay, this is the message that will be going to the client, so you want to make sure it's very straightforward and clear. This is a generic message that's called the welcome email, and there's also a recurring email that goes out. You can do the schedule for how frequently these new rentals will pop up and notify. ASAP is going to allow anytime there's a new update, including a price change or a status change or a new rental in that area, the client will receive that email automatically. For daily, you can schedule AM, PM schedule to send out, or monthly. Typically daily is the best one generally used, and you could turn it off Sunday or weekends, whatever days, depending on the need of the client. Okay, and that's at the bottom. We're going to hit save, and that essentially set up an auto email. To view those, you can go to My Matrix Auto Email, and you can take a look at the one that was set up here. So at that point, I can actually revise the search, delete it, look at the results and settings. So that about concludes this little training program covering these little items here for basic navigation, searching, listing edit, CMA, and auto search. Again, additional training is available to you by going to the help icon, and you can watch training webinars. There's training guides, little tips and tricks on features in the MLS. And do thank you for watching. Have a great day.